Teenage Zombies: Invasion of the Alien Brain Thingies is a 2D side-scroller puzzle platformer released exclusively for the Nintendo DS. This game was never very popular, and after playing the entire game, I see why. I'm going to start this video off by saying that I do understand that this game was made for kids, so I, as an adult, have to cut it a little slack, but I still don't think that I would have liked this as a kid. Also, I apologize, the footage isn't the best. It was hard to get a good angle and good lighting. I guess I'm going to start off on a more positive note with one of the few things this game did right, and that is the art style. Sure, as a DS game, the graphics aren't very good, but some of the character designs and backgrounds looked pretty nice. Another positive is the comedy factor. The game had a lot of humor, which I know as a kid I would have found hilarious, but as an adult it was just slightly amusing from time to time. The last real positive I have for Teenage Zombies is that the game was very creative and original. I think the title alone is enough to prove that, but to go slightly more in depth, you have a basketball-playing zombie girl who can suck up grenades with a vacuum cleaner and launch them at enemies, a skater who can turn his skateboard into a miniature truck, and another zombie who can climb walls with tentacles on his back and who can also throw up soap bubbles to fight enemies. That's pretty much where all of the positives end. This game was incredibly boring and slow-paced, and I had to force myself through 5 hours of this insanely boring game. It was just so dull. The game has 33 levels in total, and almost all of them feel the same. While sure, they do get longer and more complex, and more enemies are added to each level, it just really felt like one giant long level, and I was so happy when it was finally over. The objective of each level, except the boss level on the 33rd level, is to reach a certain point on the map without dying. Pretty basic. As stated, the levels did get more complex as they progressed, but only a couple of them took more than 2 or 3 tries to complete. Every now and then mini-games were thrown in to change up the gameplay, but most of them were just boring too. I did appreciate a little bit of variety though. Every now and then cutscenes were thrown in. They were done in panels like a comic book as shown on screen. It did get a little annoying having to turn my DS on its side to read the panels, but it wasn't a major L. The story was pretty weak, and in a nutshell, a evil, giant alien brain is trying to take over Earth, and the teenage zombies who are like superheroes in this world stop him. I couldn't go much further into explanation because, well, there just isn't much more to say about the story. It's almost non-existent. Going back to gameplay, the player has 3 zombies to choose from. I usually chose the basketball girl when I could, because she walks the fastest of the 3, but even being the fastest, she's still pretty slow. Each zombie has special abilities and power-ups that are needed to progress through the levels. The basketball girl can jump really high, the skater can crawl under tight areas and ride skate ramps, and the one with tentacles can climb walls. Combat is pretty simple. While most enemies can be beaten simply with a single melee hit, a few require a power-up such as the aforementioned vacuum and some strategic planning to beat. This game had a pretty creative healing system. Instead of getting medkits to carry, you get to assemble a zombie and you have to find his body parts scattered throughout levels. Reassembling him restored some health, but I didn't really use him much. The registry system was really finicky and didn't like working, and you can just eat your brain enemies to restore health, which is what I usually ended up doing. I think the last thing worth mentioning is the soundtrack. After 4 hours and 27 levels of listening to the same 2-minute song on repeat, I just muted the game and pulled up something on YouTube to listen to. That being said, the final level did have a different song, very short and repetitive, but at least it was something new. The soundtrack sounds like it was recorded with an electric organ and a kazoo. Really weird combination that got old very fast. My final score for Teenage Zombies is a 5.9 out of 10. It's a bad game. I think I paid about $15 for a complete in-box copy on eBay, and I wouldn't pick this up for anything over 99 cents. That's all for today, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. To those new to my channel, I mostly review and discuss zombie and horror games, so if that interests you, maybe check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching. Always remember that God loves you. Peace.